Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Janet Frood, and I'll be the moderator for this gathering today. I'm a resident of Ward 6, so I'm visiting you today to help you have a really engaged conversation. This is the last in the series of Urban League debates, and so I'm really, really pleased to see you all here. Citizen participation, coming to hear the candidates, meet them, is a really significant part of the election process. So welcome today. We're really happy to have you here. I wanted to indicate that I'm being assisted by a number of people today. So Michelle is over here in the front row doing timekeeping. You'll see some of the other hosts, Salim and Sue and others that are volunteers. So they're out in the back. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to turn to them. So before we do anything, and I think specifically after yesterday being the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the land on which we gather and the many Indigenous people of this region. The three long-standing Indigenous groups of this region are the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Lenni-Pequot. I'd also like to recognize the the three First Nations communities neighboring the City of London, and they include the Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and the Munsee Delaware Nation. We recognize that we as the Urban League, members and community have a role to play in relationship building and reconciliation, and that reconciliation has to be more than talk. It has to be based on action. Miigwech, Yukon, and Anishik. The Urban League of London is hosting all candidates meetings with partner organizations from across London, including Innova, Climate Action London, Inclusive Economy London, London Cycle Link, London Environmental Network, London Intercommunity Health Centre, London School of Racialized Leaders, London Middlesex, Local Immigration Partnership, Pillar Nonprofit Network, and Young London. We are hosting 14 meetings, and they've been going on since the middle of September till today. A volunteer-run committee was struck by the Urban League of London and has been meeting since January to organize the meetings, and is composed of individuals from various organizations across the city, and set the goal of encouraging participation in local government and political process. The committee has invited all candidates to participate. Along with the partner organizations, the committee has created a list of important questions to ask the candidates. And those questions were shared with the candidates in advance of this meeting as part of their preparation. We request that everyone here today be respectful of the candidates and your fellow audience members. We would also like to encourage those of you in our audience who use social media to tag us in your posts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So Facebook is at Urban League of London, and if you're using Instagram or Twitter, it's at ULLDN. And if you want to use a hashtag, it's hashtag LDNvotes. And so we really encourage you to be carriers of the messages and what you hear from this meeting today. So through social media, but also as you go into the community and share impressions and thoughts, it's a really great way to mobilize and encourage other people to engage as well. We do want to acknowledge and thank the London Public Library Byron branch for hosting us today. I have to admit, this is my first time in this branch, and I got confused getting here. So anyway, but it's great. I think the libraries are just amazing resources for us, and that they would host this is fantastic. We also thank the London Community Foundation for sponsoring the All Candidates meetings, and remind our audience of their 2021 release of their Vital Signs report, Be the Change. Vital Signs is a biannual check-in on how we are faring on issues that are significant to the well-being and quality of life in our community. The latest report focuses on making systemic change by coming together to participate in collective action. The report is available at bethechange.ca. It's almost like a community report card on things that are vital for our life and well-being. Today, I want to acknowledge that we have Rogers here who are recording this. All of the debates have been recorded, and they are being shared with the community as another way of encouraging both voter participation and information sharing. So I would like to talk about the ground rules for this debate. I've already drawn the candidates' names in terms of speaker order, and I'll share with you the order that they will be speaking in. Okay, our first will be Mario Jozic, followed by Veronica Warner, followed by Anna Hopkins, and the fourth speaker will be Baqar Khan. So we'll go in that order. Once we start, each person will have the opportunity to speak first, and then we will rotate the order so that you'll get a little bit of a mix-up in that. The other thing to note is that each of the candidates will have 2 minutes for opening remarks. And then once we get into the organized questions, they will each get to draw once from this box. And so they will have 2 minutes to respond to the question that they draw. All of the others will have 1 minute to respond as a follow-up. We also have some pre-submitted questions from audiences or people that registered. We will then move to those questions because we want to honor those questions that have come in. Once we use all of those questions, we will then ask you as the audience if you would like to have any other questions for the candidates. When you ask a question, you can ask to a candidate or you can ask to all. Please specify when you do that so that we understand how to hold space for that. When we get to those questions, the candidates will have 1 minute to respond. I do want to say, and I'll remind you this when we get to the audience questions, if you have a question, please be very clear in what your question is. Having hosted some of these debates, people, they tell stories on issues they're passionate about, and it's unclear what the question is. So if you can really be mindful of that, I know it'll help the candidates and everybody else here as well. Okay, what else? Alrighty, so in terms of the timekeeping, you will see that Michelle will be holding up little cards. So when a candidate starts speaking, she will show the green card, and that's an indication your time is ready to go. A yellow card will be shown at 30 seconds left, and the red card will indicate that the time has expired. And I've already had a chat with the candidates to ask them to really respect time because it's important. I know you're all here, you want to hear from all the candidates, and we want to make sure that there's really equal participation. So I am going to now invite us to go into the opening remarks. And so the first person is Mario.
Thank you very much.
And it's just 2 minutes. Yeah.
Time starts now. Thank you very much for having me. This is my first debate, so I'm very excited. I've been a London resident for most of my life. I immigrated from Croatia when I was 10, and I've called London my home since then. I went to the University of Western Ontario. I have a degree in political theory and economics, a master's degree in political theory and economics, and I've been a business owner basically since I graduated. I owned a downtown restaurant called the London Wine Bar. Also, I own my own construction business, as well as I do project management for various construction companies throughout London. The reason why I decided to run for city council is a lot of the business owners that I associate with downtown, we've been very frustrated, but that applies throughout the entire city. And my friend told me you have to hold them accountable. And so I decided to run because these issues are important to me. And I feel through my interaction with the city council, where I live, where I work, I haven't gotten the answers necessary to make me feel comfortable. I've sent so many emails, so many phone calls, hoping to resolve issues that we're going to be talking about today. And this was 3, 4, 5 years ago. And those still the same issues come and they come up and they come up. And I got no responses. Contacted the mayor, no responses. So my goal here is to showcase what's important for the entire city of London, promote my views on this, and basically say that I will be held accountable for my point of view, for my perspective on these issues. And I think we often talk about the same stuff throughout the campaigns, and I think now we have to have some sort of a tangible plan to make these changes. And I really hope throughout this debate, and as I canvass, as I meet everybody, that you can see my vision and you can say, well, you know what? This man has a tangible plan to change the things that are all important to all of us. So thank you very much, and I look forward to this debate.
Thank you, Mario. Veronica?
Thank you. Thank you, and thanks everybody for being here today, and thank you to the Urban League for putting this on. And I'm grateful to be here again after another 4 years of construction confusion in Lambeth and Byron and Riverbend and all these areas that combine Ward 9, which I just heard today compromises of 15,000 people living here. So that's a lot of people for one ward. And that's a lot of work for one person to be able to, manage and listen to everybody's needs on a part-time basis. I have a business here in Byron. I've been in Byron for 25 years. And I talk to a lot of the local people. I guess I've been doing my canvassing behind the chair because that's just what I do. And people love to talk about city politics. So, my time now is quite free. My son is grown, and I have a little dog. I'm not on boards or committees as of yet. If I did get this job, I would put 100% effort into helping Ward 9 get to be where all the citizens would like to see it to be. And then from there, I would probably pick different boards and committees that I felt were of interest to not only just myself, but the ward itself. And I'm really grateful to be here. It's exciting. And congratulations to our other nominees. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Veronica. And now, Anna.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Urban League for putting on this candidates debate, and I want to thank the candidates for putting your name forward and for bringing forward your passion for the city. And I also want to thank the community for being here and being involved in municipal politics or the municipal election. I know that we have many newcomers to Ward 9, so I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I was elected onto council in 2014 and again in 2018. I have lived in the Byron community for the past 35 years with my husband, Bill. We raised 3 boys who went to school in our neighborhoods here, and I have played on sports teams throughout their lives. Even though my son and my daughter-in-law live in Toronto, I have almost convinced them that they should bring my 3 grandchildren back to the City of London. It is a wonderful community for young people to learn and thrive. My husband and I ran a small family business, a HVAC business, for nearly 25 years, where the importance of hard work, excellent service, and the challenges facing small businesses were reinforced in me. I've been an active volunteer and community advocate as well for the past 35 years. I have served on working to build a not-for-profit daycare, being a member of the Home and School Association, the Urban League of London, and I have served on a board for the London United Soccer Club for many years. During my 8 years on council, I continue to advocate for women to get into leadership roles. For years, I led an effort to protect a natural historic area in London called Reservoir Hill. I learned an awful lot about community participation, environment protection, and how to navigate City Hall, and the importance that the councillor who will listen to you do their best to help address your concerns. I have spent a lifetime getting to know our community, learning the issues and approaches to creating meaningful change.
Anna, we're at time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Baqar.
Hi, my name is Baqar Khan, and I am resident of Ward 9. I moved with my family to Canada in 2012, and since then we actually landed in Hamilton. And then my wife, she's a family physician. She got residency over here, and we moved to London. And since then, I'm living in the ward. So I'm a husband and father of 3. My son has recently graduated and he's working. My daughter, she's in 4th year university, and my youngest one, she is in grade 12, and she's following my footprint, and she is the the Deputy Prime Minister of the Oak Ridge Students' Council. So why I came to put myself in this ward for the councillorship, I actually have pretty good experience of politics. I have been in politics since ages. Back home in Pakistan, lots of my family members are still in the politics, and they are in provincial and National Assembly. So I have seen a lot of things, especially in this ward, because I'm living in this ward. So I know, I must say that I just have great respect for Mrs. Anna Hopkins. She has done a lot, but a lot of things needs to be done right now, which I have seen, especially which I think definitely will come in the questions. At the same time, my concept of consularship is not only that we have to deal everything relating to the work and all that stuff. I think consular needs to be present among the ward residents all the time, through their thick and thin. So this is the one thing which I would like to blend from my previous experience to this new country. So here I am, and looking for your help and support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to go into the shared questions, and so each of you will have a chance to pick. Again, we'll start with Mario, 2 minutes. The others will respond in 1 minute, and we'll rotate that 4 times from these questions. The happy special box. All righty. This is a question that is about the environment. The pollution of the Thames River is a complex problem that includes raw sewage being dumped during high rainfalls, phosphorus leaching into the river causing algae blooms in Lake Erie, and tons of garbage going into the river and contaminating the water source of neighboring First Nations communities. What, if anything, will you do to address this complex pollution problem? Mario, please start us off. 2 minutes.
Thank you. It is a complex problem, and I am not an expert in environmental policy, but from what I can see is that we need to continue with the stormwater and sanitary sewer separation. Wastewater treatment plant, we need to invest in our wastewater treatment plants because, for example, Vauxhall and Pottersburg remain problematic with bypass and overflows. So we really need to fix that, and it takes investment to make that happen. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with the Nutrient Management Act, but it's basically it's an act where, for example, phosphorus is a primary runoff from farmlands just on the outskirts of London. We have a committee, we have an act that is supposed to look into these things, supposed to monitor these things and educate those people who are working on the outskirts of London. So we need to invest into the Nutrient Management Act. We need to have more officers going around checking to make sure that everybody is in compliance. And we need to educate people as to how we can avoid these things, right? And then, worst case scenario, if those issues still continue to become a problem, then we need to find a way to either fine or re-educate or something to make sure that these runoffs do not occur. So capital investment, and make sure that we promote our Nutrient Management Act.
Thank you. Veronica, we'll go to you. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. Yeah, this is probably one of the reasons that I'm sitting here. I think it was 6 years ago, so it was prior to the last election, and I live across from Springbank. So if any of you have walked in Springbank, and particularly in the hot summer months, you'll smell that lovely scent of raw sewage that I've been complaining about for many years, and still happening. And sadly, when that construction was put in, all the sewer pipes that ran down from Lambeth that connect Silverleaf, and anyway, all along that route. So the pipes come down into Springbank, and then those pipes veer off over to the Oxford Street pumping station. But I'm not sure what's going on, because I've asked if we had a sewage pumping station installed up by Silverleaf, and I guess there is one there. I'm not sure if it's operational. I'm not sure if it works.
Veronica, we're at time.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Wow.
You know, it takes rigor to answer. Yeah.
Talbot Village.
Anna, can you pick up, please? 1 minute.
Yes, I have been a member of the Upper Thames Conservation Authority for the past almost 8 years, and working with the professionals at the Conservation Authority, we are mandated by the province to reduce phosphorus in our lakes and rivers by 60%. We all have to work together as municipalities. We all share that same river, upstream and downstream. I think what is really important is vital is to make sure that we get the funding as a municipality to reduce the raw sewage that goes into the river. And I think that is really important. We can't do it alone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Baqar?
Yes, I think the laws are already there, and we need a strict, application of the laws. We need to encourage people to follow and to see what the law says. We need to talk to different industries that they should better treat their wastage before going to the river and polluting the whole area. So at the same time, as we have seen that, at the same time, I think there are lots of things which we still need to do about the seepage which is going through to the river. And I think being a councillor, I would definitely stress to put more funding towards this and make more filtration plants. Thank you.
All right. Next question. Veronica?
Exciting.
Happy
Happy
Very
box.
exciting. I'll read it. Okay. This is a question about unemployment. What actions do you believe need to happen locally so that all children and youth have equal learning opportunities, regardless of geographic location, background, or socioeconomic status? And sorry, it should be unemployment or employment. So this is more on the employment side. Veronica, 2 minutes to start us off, please.
Oh, hi. Well, I just don't understand why the unemployment rate seems to be so high when we seem to have so many jobs. And I think just this week, Maple Leaf Chicken Factory, I guess you would call it, is hiring like well over 100 people. So I just don't understand why these jobs aren't getting filled. So, and also I think there's more jobs out in at Toyota. So, I mean, perhaps if we had transportation going to these large factories, maybe more people would get on board to fill these positions. I think London's doing great. I mean, it's thriving. Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful city. So I just don't understand why we don't have transportation going to places where the employment is. So that's all. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, so I think the question was around children and youth, if I
Yeah, it's
make sure
children.
I
So
got
what
that
actions
right.
do you believe need to happen locally so that all children and youth have
Thank
equal
you.
learning opportunities regardless of geographic location?
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, because I know we've got so many questions that we were given.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that as a counselor, I have worked with the LCCM, which is the Licensed Childcare. We as a municipality have advocated for the provincial government to do $10 a day daycare. That is really important. Youth need to have opportunities to be supported. It's also really important that our ECEs to get their wage increases. Children are very important, and our youth as well. We really just need to support and create opportunities for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Baqar?
Yes, ma'am. So as a city council, I think I would like city to work with the school boards and Ministry of Education to ensure the classroom size is appropriate and manageable. It seems that in some areas, classrooms and schools are overcrowded while some areas have capacity. Council should be working to remove barriers in exploring students moving school with capacity regardless of their residency restrictions. We also need to be more innovative in education, and that will encourage more involvement and encouragement in the children and youth, such as game and app developments for the high school and IT students. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mario?
I think this would be a great question for the school board trustees, but I think this has to be an inclusionary approach. I agree with the daycare. I agree with funding for certain things. I remember when I first came to Canada, what was important for me was transportation, being able to actually get to school. We have various socioeconomic backgrounds in our school, so what was important was that everybody has access to clothing, winter clothes, winter boots, so that everybody is the same. And then access to books, access to pens, binders, so that everybody, despite what their socioeconomic background is, they have the same ability to learn. They have everything that everybody else does have, as opposed to being limited by your socioeconomic background, by not being able to go to a specific school that you want to, not having the things necessary for you to succeed in our education system. So I think it has to be inclusionary, but there's a very simple path to this. And I've lived it when I came to Canada, and I think if we focus on those simple things, we will have the same opportunity for all the children attending our schools.
Thank you very much. All right. Anna, you get to draw the next question. Thank you. This is a question about belonging. There was a 50% rise in reported racially motivated hate crimes in London and Middlesex County between 2020 and 2021. What tangible actions do you think need to happen to change this trend? Anna, you have 2 minutes.
Yes, and I know that we probably don't see it as much in Ward 9, but we definitely do see it throughout the City of London, and it is a concern. I know as a city, we have a growing population. We have many people coming to this city from different walks of life, immigration from all over the world. It's amazing how many people I have met that have come from different parts of not only Canada, but from the world. And so as we deal with getting to understand one another, getting to know our city, getting to know how the federal and provincial policies, we need them strengthened so it can help us as a municipality deal with the hate crimes, the symbols that we see from time to time around our community. And as a municipality, we can send a letter out and ask the province and the federal government to do something about it. But we all need to work together to have this inclusive community that London is. It is a growing city. It is a changing city as well. And it is something that we all have to almost not be afraid of the change that we're going to have going forward, but embrace it and work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And Baqar, can you do this for 1 minute?
Yes, ma'am. So, a long time ago, I heard or read somewhere that every crime or violence happens when there are two factors available: motive and opportunity. So, what you can't control is anybody's motive. Because it is hidden agenda, I can't, and I believe no one can read anyone's mind. However, we can control the opportunity factor. There should be no opportunity for someone to commit a crime. Just like bank locks up and the cash and in the wall, shut doors behind, turn on security system and sometime monitoring the camera all night. Basically, they are eliminating any possibility of an opportunity. So Bill 86, our London Family Act, is a comprehensive and great starting point to start working to eliminate hate crimes. In London, City Council will work in collaboration with police, mental health advocates, religious communities leaders to acknowledge diversity, raise awareness, and offer to support the victims. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Muriel?
I think we as a city council, we have to set leadership on this issue. And we have to emphasize that hate does not have a home in London, Ontario. I think we have to educate our population about the consequences of hate crimes. And we have to, with everything that's going on in the world, I feel a lot of times people look and it's almost acceptable to look at somebody like that or approach somebody and commit a hate crime. And we have to have a sense of community coming from the City Hall that there's no place for this. We are all inclusionary. We are all one community. We do this through messaging from the city hall, through events where we get to meet our neighbors, we get to meet our cultures. Like everybody likes traveling, right? But we hate certain cultures and we commit certain crimes. And that's just, we have to make a statement and say that's not okay. And if that does happen, you will be criminally charged. And there is zero tolerance on hate crimes in London, Ontario. It should be that simple and that forward, and the City Hall needs to send that message and make it very clear.
Thank you, Mario. Veronica?
Thank you. As a fourth generation Londoner, I've seen things change over the course of that time. And, I do believe London is very inclusive. This one was really important to me. So I said, we have a thriving city that includes everyone, regardless of where you come from. We are inclusive to all who want to live here. Crime is definitely up, and that is why we need more hires within our local police. I believe the recommended number of police need was 52. I'm not up to date on the 22 budget of London, and if there is money available in it, perhaps surplus, I would like to see support to our London police and our fire and rescue in order to ensure that safety is our first priority. I believe we need speed traps, photo radar in some areas, as we all have experienced excessive speeding, and the results tie up our police, but also result in injury and sadly death. We have a world-class city with
Veronica,
world-class
we're at time.
education.
Thank you. Sorry, we're at
Thank you.
time. Yep. Thank you. All right. Baqar. Thank you. All right. This is a question about governance. What are the 3 most important city services to maintain and grow? Explain why you choose those 3. And you have 2 minutes, Baqar.
Yes, ma'am. So for me, right now I have 3 major issues which I definitely would like to address once I'm in this council. The first one is transportation. The second one is repairing roads. And for all of my dog lovers, I need more dog parks, especially in Ward 9. So I would start with transportation. People need to move around without depending on the private transportation. This will reduce carbon footprint, but also sport over tourism. And I know that I think we have already approved for electric buses, and that is a very good step. And I definitely appreciate City Council for that. Repairing roads. I believe your property tax dollars and your need should be incorporated and balanced with the issues facing, especially this Ward 9, such as increased demand in public, in building and maintaining infrastructure to support growing population. We can solve this by assessment of the road work, prioritizing according to the growing needs. And dog parks. Ward 9 needs a dog park. Dog park don't just benefit the dogs, but their pet parents too, because it is a great place to meet other pet parents and to develop friendship and bonds. Ward 9 needs dog park for residents to get outside and exercise with their dog, plus watching the dogs play together in fun, well exercised. Dogs also tend to be better for friends. We can do this by allocating space in existing parks. We have a lot of space in our Riverbend area. We can do some space in Springbank Park also, and sourcing the funds for the fencing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Baqar. Mario, can you follow, please?
Sure. I have general broad services, but one priority for me is the protective services, so our fire, our police, our bylaw enforcement, because I think that's an important aspect of it. And if you read the city budget, I think we allocated like 195 million to it, right? So it's very important that we ensure our safety of our children and our communities. Financial management services are also important because those services are the primary capital financing vehicle for the City of London. So if we want to talk about dog parks, public service stuff in our neighborhoods, we have to have money and allocate money for that as well. And health and social management services. I think we're talking about housing, social community services. I think it's important that we invest in those as well in order to maintain these and tackle those big issues that we've been talking about, providing services for the disadvantaged and providing various services throughout our city. Thank you.
Thank you. And Veronica, top 3 priorities for you.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, moving around the city continues to be a challenge. Backed up traffic, construction, unsynchronized traffic lights, and a bus system that needs improvement in so many ways. And the Thames Valley Bike Trail, I'm not sure if you're new to this city, is a 110-kilometer biking trail which follows the Thames River from Delaware through London to St. Mary's. Currently, Lambeth, Talbot Village, Silverleaf River, Bend, Ironwood, and West 5 are not connected. And also, I would like access provided to that parkway. I understand we wish to protect the endangered hognose snake, but there must be a way to achieve moving people around with the parkway and protecting these snakes at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anna, 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you. And so the 3 important services that the city provides as we grow and change as a city, transportation, without a doubt, has to be the number one. Not only in Ward 9, but throughout the city, we need opportunities for transit, walking, biking. Without a doubt, we have to, as we build more homes, we are lagging constantly behind our transportation services. Road infrastructure, and I just want to touch upon London's climate change plan, as you know, was adopted by this council. Challenges moving forward, our infrastructure needs to be maintained. We are going to go through many changes with floods and as our climate changes, we're going to need to deal with that infrastructure. I want to touch upon the social infrastructure. We're lagging behind not only with our schools, but with our parks, and we need to plan better.
Thank you, Anna. That's great. So we're now going to move into pre-submitted questions from those of you if you registered and submitted a question. So I'll turn to those. So the first question, and it's going to be Mario. We'll start the rotation again. So all of you now will only have 1 minute per question. Okay. So the question is, what are your views on infill in Byron? And I'm going to presume, and what would you do about it?
Honestly, I don't have a good answer for this. I've looked at various approaches to it, and I know it's a controversial issue, and I don't feel comfortable giving a proper answer at this time without consulting various aspects and being comfortable to answer that question.
Thank you. Okay. Pardon me?
What is that referring to?
Taking a bungalow and putting in a 4-story.
Increasing density.
Yeah.
Yeah, all it says is infill in quotes. So I think it's a little bit for interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can
Population density.
Can I talk about in general or just in Byron specifically?
Can I give you 30 more seconds?
Yes. I think it's very important that we promote this aspect of development. It's going to help with our housing problem. It's going to help with our cost of housing, cost of infrastructure. But I think it's also important that we look at solutions that are not specifically about this. We have to look at other solutions that will achieve the same goal. So when I say we have to do a comprehensive approach to this, I think it's not just one solution for everything. I think it's a little more.
Thank you,
than
Mario. Yep, thank you. And Veronica, if you can follow up, 1 minute.
What was the question again?
It says, what are your views on infill in Byron. And so I think people are saying it's around housing density.
Yeah, I know what infill is. Around Byron, well, right now, and just on the way here, actually, I stopped and talked to somebody, a neighbor, and I said, Barry, tell me what's the most important thing. And Barry said the traffic. The traffic in Byron is a nightmare. He said, Veronica, even Bowler Road, it's totally backed up bumper to bumper from Baseline to Commissioners at lunchtime. I'm like, oh, okay. So I said, what can we do, Barry? And Barry said, I don't know, we got to get the traffic away from Byron. So, I mean, to infill more in Byron, oh my gosh, it's just going to explode. And I'm, like I said earlier, which I guess I was off topic with the sewage pipes going through Springbank, I'm not sure that we have the infrastructure in Byron to support that. So I don't know. I'm a hairdresser, not a city councilor, so I wouldn't know best, but I'm guessing. Thanks.
Thank you. Anna, 1 minute?
Yeah, thank you. I definitely know what infills are all about. I live right next to one. But I also know our official plan, which Council just endorsed, which is the London plan, or just approved, calls for intensification, infill, building in and out. One thing I know, sprawling out is not sustainable for us as a city. So how do we do these infills has been an ongoing challenge. As you know, Ward 9 is all about development, and it is about how we balance growth. I think it's really important that we understand the application, understand what the community is saying, and how we all work together, not only the city and the community, but also the development community, to come up with something that is best for the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Baqar?
I think this is more related to someone's own choice. I mean, if someone wants to sell their property, do we have any legislation that we can bound someone that you can't build a high rise in the area which is not supposed to be? This is what we need to, look at. And I don't know what the city law says about that. So, but again, the thing is that you can't stop this growing need of the people, because people are moving from GTA to London. Definitely, city needs to look more ways rather than stopping this thing. We definitely have to have some more plans for the urban growth. So I think, again, this is the thing which is not something that I can ask someone that don't do this, because it's their own choice. So they're getting a lot of money. Who will stop this? So I think city needs to, do more for this. Thank you. Sorry for the time.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask another question for you. This one is, it says, the city employs an ethics commissioner. Would you support their recommendations if it meant censuring a fellow council member? Censuring, how would you, if it meant that you had to hold another, or basically, I'm trying to think, how do we explain censuring?
Sanction is another word.
Sanction, thank you, yeah.
Holding someone accountable.
Thank you, yeah. So for this question, we will start with Veronica. And you all have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, to access and improve affordable housing, we must have good communication with developers. We need to cut down on red tape issues and offer incentives to achieve our goals of improving more affordable housing to Londoners. Having a conversation, be willing to bargain. If one more level added to a new building will allow for, let's say, 10 more affordable units, then let's make a deal. I believe developers can be reasonable if the right approach is taken. I am surprised with the figures on our unemployment rate. We have a large inventory of jobs, and the opportunity for entrepreneurship have never been greater. We have an aging population that requires so many services, and yet they can't find anyone to do the simple things like cut the grass. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, just want to thank you so much. And next will be Anna, and specifically the ethics commissioner issue and holding the other council members accountable, please.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. And I understand that we have the Integrity Commissioner, and I assume that's the Ethics Commissioner. They're one and the same. So that is something that, as a representative of AMO, the Association of Municipalities, I represent them, the City of London at the board. We have had numerous conversations because as an elected official, you cannot remove them. The Integrity Commissioner is fine. You can put in the complaints. The Integrity Commissioner can make suggestions to reprimand or apologize, but there's really no teeth in that. And I do think we need to strengthen the work around the Integrity Commissioner as well. We know that if at election time, there's always an opportunity to remove that person on council as well.
Thank you. And next, Baqar.
Yes, ma'am. I think accountability in every field of life is the best thing to do. Everyone among us should be and is accountable for their deeds. And once, if I am representing the whole community, it brings me more, prone to this, that I should be available for accountability. So I don't know what's the procedure right now in the city, if they can accountable their fellow councillors or not, but it should be. If I may be elected, I definitely would work for that. Everybody is accountable for their deeds. Whatever you are doing, you have to answer your public. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mario.
I think it's very important to have an ethics or integrity commissioner. I think, as everybody agrees, it is important to hold our elected officials accountable. But I don't believe that one person has the, and as Councillor Hopkins has indicated, there's no teeth there. So I don't believe that one person has the ability to censure a political candidate that is elected by the public. What I think the Ethics and Integrity Commissioner has the right to do is bring this to the forefront, to educate the people what is going on and hold those councillors accountable and make sure that they give the answers not only to the commissioner, but also to the people that elected them.
Thank you. Okay. We have another question from audience pre-submitted. This one is specific to COVID restrictions. The person who will be answering is Anna. We'll go first. What is your stance on the COVID restrictions and mandates that were implemented, some of which are still remaining in settings like long-term care homes? Would you support further restrictions in the future? Would you do anything about those that remain? 1 minute each. Anna?
Yeah, thank you. During my time on council, the past 2.5 years, it has been a challenge for municipalities. We've all had to pivot, work differently, make different decisions as well. So we have to be flexible, understanding what is presented, what is in the community. As an elected official, you are responsible for protecting people. It's that simple. Our emergency order comes from the provincial government as well. That is something that as a municipality, we cannot override. We do have to protect the good of the community, and that is what an elected official should do. And I would be open to, having those conversations, really understanding what's out there and being able to respond accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Baqar?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, let's pray and hope that we don't come across this many again in our lifetime. Well, this was the thing which most of us have seen for the first time in our life. So we definitely would give some edge to the governments, the way they handle it. But I think we could have handled it much better way. And we have examples in this. United Nations, you can see that lots of countries, like my own country back home, the way they dealt it, it was much more better than a lot of the developed countries were doing in the world. So rather than very strict lockdowns or some other mandates, we could have gone for smart lockdowns and some other things. But as I said, this was the first time in our lifetime. We do have lots of experience now, and I hope that we don't, as I said, we don't come across anything like that, but we definitely are now better ready for this now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mario?
Well, I can say as a business owner and definitely a restaurant owner, I hope we don't have to go through this again. The province sets our medical mandate, right? So there's little a city councilor can do to, change what's happening in our provincial politics. I believe that we follow the advice of the medical advisors that issue that advice. And then subsequently, as we've learned throughout this whole process, is there's certain things that they've done that could be better, that could be more efficient, that could be improved better. Just speaking as a business owner, some of the mandates that they issued, that they changed within a couple of weeks, that didn't make any sense. Also, I think the big thing is communication with the people. Having is our responsibility. If we're implementing those mandates, it is our responsibility to educate everybody about what is going on, because I often found myself unaware of the new mandates that were happening. And sometimes they were very harsh, they were very severe, that we learned at last minute, right? So I think we as a community, we as elected officials could do a significantly better job of educating and promoting the mandates that are set by provincial government.
Thank you very much. And Veronica.
Thank you. As a small business owner working through the pandemic, and also being in the city for 25 years as a licensed business, I was really disappointed in the city. I didn't get one letter. I didn't get one phone call. For me to find out what the mandates were, what the rules were, I had to watch Doug Ford on Tuesdays and Fridays every single week. And let me tell you, that does something to you. And really disappointed. Like, I spend a lot of money with this city for my taxes and my business license, which I tripled 4 years ago because the city council decided to amend every single bylaw, and that cost was put on to small business owners. We've lost a lot of small businesses. So if I was elected to council, I am definitely going to support small business in London, because I do believe they are the backbone of our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Just want to check, is Fred B here? Yes. Fred, you asked a rather complicated question about Thames River, and it's quite detailed. And so I'm going, is there a way that you can bottom line it? And if you're going to speak to it, I need you to come to talk into the mic so it can be recorded. But if you're able to actually give it just for the sake of time. Yeah. But can you come up here just to talk into the, and I really do need Cole's notes. Yeah, would be very helpful. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you, everybody. And I hate having to come here. I don't hate having to come here, but generally if you have to challenge or question leadership, that means that things aren't going very well. And although things are good for me in my city, in my province, in my country, there's a tremendous amount of misery, abject misery going on. And this is it's inflicted by poor policy or the inability to execute good policy. So I'll be brief on this one. During significant, and this is back to the Thames River, during significant weather events occurring roughly 10 to 15 times a year, we divert hundreds of millions of liters of untreated raw sewage into the Thames River. And this act is acknowledged and reported by city employees, management, and elected officials as intentional. Now, Mario mentioned earlier the Nutrients Act. The Nutrients Act actually covers phosphorus for farmers, but Got it.
You gotta get that.
The Ontario, okay, so here's my two, diverting water for me to pump 100 million liters of untreated waste into the river, I would be, there are indictable offenses subject to criminal fines and jail time. Now, my first question was to the incumbent. This is illegal and immoral. And my first question is to the incumbent. Both immoral and criminal behavior while conducting city business are covered in council's and city employees' code of conduct and require at a minimum resignation or termination with cause. So my question, I guess, is to Anna, somebody's getting away with high crimes and misdemeanors. Now, there must be the Ontario Water Resource Act and the Environmental Protection Act cover all of this. Now, my question is, I just want to know, because I can't find it anywhere, how come you're not in jail And how come you haven't been fined?
Okay, Fred?
So that's
So this is
all councillors in city, all cities,
Okay,
yeah,
so, yeah.
but specifically.
Yeah, okay.
This is very much personal.
So I think it's about accountability regarding some of these things, and so if you can best answer again.
Why is that funny?
No. I'm just trying to say it's like, so it's accountability related to some of the laws. Yeah, not funny. Yeah. No. So one minute, Anna, if you can respond.
Yeah, so the accountability is really important. And I want to thank you for that question, because I think there's a lot of confusion out there as to who is responsible. We do have a code of conduct at council. We rely on the professional expertise of our staff to give us the information for us to make decisions. Putting that aside, we are I also represent the City of London at the Upper Thames Conservation Authority. And again, we are mandated by the Conservation Act as to protecting people and their property. And the question also is about the quality of our river. There are many policies there. There are many people that do understand these numbers and constantly regulate. I would think that if there is a problem there, that we would be told that there is a problem. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to answer your question, but depending on what numbers you have, I think we do rely on staff to give us the accurate information.
Okay. So Anna, thank you for that. And I know there will be more opportunity to chat after the questions. I know, Fred, you also wanted the incumbent or the other candidates to talk about how would you deal with this in terms of if you perceive that there was some misalignment around conduct and holding the accountability, and so if you can respond. If we can go to Mario for this next.
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, we have various acts of compliance that hold us accountable and hold those people that dump all that stuff into our rivers. So I do believe that it is important to talk to those agencies, talk to people who are in that industry, and to make sure that we do hold our councillors accountable. We do hold our elected officials accountable. And I can't personally say that I have scientific data on this. So I would love to know more, as you've mentioned. But there has to be a mechanism where we say, okay, this is contrary to our acts, contrary to our environmental acts, contrary to our compliance acts. And if that is the case, then the people who are doing this and the people who are aware of this should definitely be held accountable.
Okay, thank you. Veronica?
Okay, thank you. Like I said, I'm a fourth generation Londoner, so this isn't anything new, Fred. And, yes, we need to put money into Greenway, more money. We're growing by leaps and bounds, this city. Our infrastructure can't withstand, let's say all the sewage that's going to that treatment plant. And yeah, it's overflowing into the river, and it's been constant. And you're right, Fred, somebody should be accountable for that. And also somebody should be accountable for pumping all those springs dry in Springbank Park when they put the sewer lines through. That was fresh water pumped out, fresh water that generations to come would likely have to rely on, that's now gone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Baqar?
Yes, as I already mentioned, that accountability is the main pillar for any organization. So everyone should be accountable for their deeds. But at the very same time, I would say that lots of, education and knowledge should be there it should be important for everyone who is using this river water and also who is polluting this river water. So at the same time, as I said, everyone should be held accountable who is responsible, but we will have to keep people more aware about this thing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'd like to also see if there's other people in the audience that you may have questions. If you do have a question, again, I have to underscore the clarity of the question instead of long story is going to be very helpful. If you're asking the question, could you please come up here and speak into the mic so it can be recorded as well?
tiny time of, I'll need to, context.
Context
I
short.
promise.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Pat. I worked for the Ministry of Environment for 30 years. Upon my retirement, a couple of years after my retirement, council assigned me to 2 community environmental committees that I've been serving on. First of all,
It'll fall.
here we'll see.
Yep, just tilt it.
Down, just tilt just the top.
There you go.
There we go.
Good.
Better?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. First of all, I am fed up with the lack of support from city staff. I ask questions. I ask knowledgeable questions. I've been at this for 30 years. I get lip service answers. I do not trust the gap between city staff and the people who ask questions, the people who are involved. Don't count on them. They'll give you lip service answers, or they'll tell you go to website. Now, my question I promised you I'd ask, because I'm angry. My one question that I'm asking of the candidates is if they will continue to support the urban development boundary that's within the London plan. There is a boundary that's set up that encourages the infilling that's going on, and there's a significant amount of room for it. But then it protects areas that are within city limits. I'm sorry, I'm going.
That's okay.
That are within city limits and are farmland.
Okay. So the question is urban.
Do they support continuing with the urban growth boundary?
Great. Thank you. So order of response, Veronica, you're first.
Oh, that's great. Do I support the growth within the urbanized boundary?
There is a line on a map,
The boundary for urban growth.
and it says you
Okay.
can do urban growth here.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, I think we're getting urban sprawl. I mean, I think that the London plan's a little outdated because like, we were supposed to be doing infill within London, and yet it just keeps going outwards. And I know that properties on West Bourne Road, new properties, I mean, they don't even have hookup to proper sewage. They're on I don't even know what you call it, septic. They're on septic, for God's sakes, and they're in the city of London.
She's going to yell at
So-
me, but development.
So I am going
all
to.
new development
No.
is ridiculous.
So we're not debating from the floor. So we need all candidates to have time to respond. So are you done? Yeah, I think we're time, like. Another 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds, Veronica, if you want to say more. Please don't interrupt because they all need to
I
have
would like
equal
to
time.
have a conversation further with this lady, and I would support what she's talking about because obviously she knows what she's talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. So Baqar?
Yes, ma'am. As far as the urban boundaries are concerned, I would definitely like to stay within these boundaries. I don't want to grab the agricultural land because rather than, expanding horizontally, I would love to expand vertically. But at the same time, the growing needs definitely needs to be addressed at the same time. Sewage and all the problems coming with the growing needs must be addressed by the city council and must be addressed in a very firm way. And I definitely am with the honorable lady that I don't want to expand the urban boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna?
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to touch upon what I heard loud and clear is that you've lost the trust in our city staff. And I think once that's lost in the community, we all lose as a city, and we need to get that back. Regarding the urban growth boundary, it is going to be going through a comprehensive review in 2023. I can tell you what I have done the past 8 years. I have supported the urban growth boundary that exists. I am an advocate about that. We know the London plan calls for developing our city in a different way, pulling it in and up, and that is something that I will support. We will see what the comprehensive review will be coming out in the spring, and I think that will be a conversation for the next council to have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mario?
Thank you for your question. I think one of the reasons why I'm running is because I've lost faith in our city hall. I think oftentimes it's lazy for us to think that, you know what, there's all this land that we need to expand to, we can build there. I think within our boundary, we need to see what is available. And me being in construction, I'm fully aware the issues that developers, builders, even people trying to flip their house face in order to make a single unit into multi-unit, right? So the easiest solution is let's look outwards. I think what we need to do initially is solve a problem, see what we can do within those boundaries, and to make sure that we have done everything possible to accommodate our population growth within London, and then look at other solutions. And I don't believe that just looking outward is our first solution to our problem.
Thank you. All right. And again, candidates will be here after, so more dialogue for sure available. Would like to invite another question if anybody else has a question you'd like to ask. Yes, and if you can come up, and I'm going to be so clear, bottom line. Yep, very clear. You got to be clear with the question.
Hi, my name is Gord. My question is for Anna. During the winter on Bowler Road, there was some repairs done there, probably a good 6 patches there. The city didn't repair them very well. I understand that in the winter, but they haven't repaired it. I sent an email to you asking to have that fixed. The handler that gets paid by the taxpayers at City Hall answered me, and I asked, no, I want you to answer me. I never heard anything from you. And that's not the first time that I've sent an email to you, and I don't get any response. So I guess the question is, why would I vote for you when you don't respond to the taxpayer?
Well, first of all, my apologies that I did not respond. That is something that I do my very best to respond to the many, many emails that we do receive. I am passionate about that because I've been there. I know how that feels. And sometimes things can fall aside. That follow-up is always a challenge when the email comes to the councillor's office. If it is a staff question, the councillor is a facilitator of that question. It goes to staff, and I rely on staff to follow up. My apologies for not doing that. I know how that feels. And again, it gets back to that trust factor that we need to do a better job within the walls of City Hall to communicate. That is something I have been advocating for many, many years. Better education, better communication. And again, I apologize.
Neither time you've responded.
Okay, so thank you, Anna.
2 out of 2. That's 100% failure.
So I'm going to extend this question while it was directed to Anna. For each of you that are running, should you become elected, how will you hold your responsibility to responding to constituent inquiries, and what's your commitment around that? And so, Baqar, can you start? 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am. That is the very first thing which I started with. I mean, the thing which we will like to blend in from my previous countries, the councillor is not supposed to be only there for the city council. In our part of the world, councillor is always available for their constituents through thick and thin. You will always see his face roaming around in your home, in your streets, in your villages. So definitely, I would like to be with my if I'm elected. You will definitely would like to see me around, and definitely will be responding to you at any time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mario?
I've also had the same issue with employee safety at my restaurant downtown. I contacted the councillor many times. I did not get a response. My feeling on this is if I can come to your house several times while canvassing, asking for your vote, I should be held accountable, and I should answer to the people that elected me to that position. So I don't think there's an excuse. We're all going to mention that, there's got to be a better mechanism for this or that. No. If I can come to your house, ask for your vote, I should be able to respond to your email, respond to your question, and certain things will get missed, of course, but we do have to be there to do the job that we are elected, and that's a big part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Veronica?
Thank you. I'm not sure if everyone in this room is aware that our counselor makes over $53,000 a year tax-free income with a $15,000 a year.
I think you should get your facts straight before you say things.
Well, anyway, I'm sorry. Also, a $15,000 a year expense account is available for our counselors, and it's a part-time position. So I'm here to say that I am willing to take this job on as a full-time counselor and accept the wage that our current council is receiving. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to invite another question. Yep. And one thing to note, you will all have closing remarks. So there may be things that you will want to, address in the closing. So I just wanted to give you notice that by about 10 to the hour, we'll go into closing. So just as an FYI. Yep. Question. And again, short, clear.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Hi, I'm Tareem. My question is for the entire council. I'm a Western University student, and as a Western University student, I pay a lot of money to go there, so I don't want to have to rely on my own private transportation. So my question is, how can you, as Ward 9 councilors, a ward that's very far from the university, make transportation easier for university students? Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start with Anna on this one, please.
Thank you. I am a commissioner of the London Transit Commission Board, so I'm going to start off with improved transit. We need to do that, not only for students. Students have reached out to me saying they have to walk 2 kilometers to a bus stop, and it's just not manageable trying to get to classes. I know we have challenges within the transit system as well. We do need to improve that. It really is all about improving how we move around in this city, and I tell you, last election, it was don't improve transit. This election, it's how do we improve transportation? And there's many means, cycling, walking, and of course, transit. And it also gives an opportunity for people that want to drive to have that space on the road so they can continue to drive, but we do need to improve it. We have to work with the rest of council to make sure that we improve transportation.
Thank you, Anna. We'll follow with Muriel, please.
I think the first thing that we have to do is connect the entire city with our university. So for example, when I was attending University of Western Ontario, I lived probably 45-minute walk from Western. I walked there often because I had to take 2 buses to get there, right? So it would take me 45 minutes to walk. It could be an hour, hour and a half to take a bus, right? So we need to connect those services. We need to connect the city with our university, right? In addition to that, I know we started school in September and in April, but we also need to promote, bike paths, having access, places where you can store your bike at the university. And I love the university buses, the King's bus. And now I found that helpful for me because it allowed me to go all around the university, and it was just student-based, right? So I think we have to figure out a way to kind of maybe perhaps expand on that. But the big thing starting with, we need to connect the entire city so you don't have to take 2 or 3 buses just to get to class.
Thank you so much. Veronica?
Thank you. And thank you for your question. And Western University, of course, is London feeds off that university. It's one of our most important resources. And last time around, we weren't really explained as to what bus rapid transit really meant. And, 25 cents on the dollar is what we would have had our road work done for instead of having to pay the full $1. And, that's not going to happen now. But I will say that with the bus system, we do need specific buses that go to these schools that run east and south and north and west. And, it's unfortunate to hear that somebody has to take 3 buses to get to school. So anyway, I'm not an expert here by any means, but I do empathize with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And Baqar?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I don't expect this thing from you, Tema. You're my daughter. Okay. So we are actually this is a great problem for all of the students specifically. I mean, we have far west, far east, far north, and far south. So my suggestion would be, for if I'm elected, definitely we need more buses. We need to have express buses, especially for the students, because when they need to go to at the time of morning time, they need to have a bus which takes less time to take them to the university. So definitely we need more buses, and we need more express lanes or express buses, especially for the students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm holding and managing time here, so your question, and are you here for a question as well? So what I'm going to do is give you 30 seconds to answer, so we can get a couple more questions in. So, okay, come on up, and again, very clear, quick question. Thank you.
My name is Brisbane. Question to Anna, our incumbent. You talk a lot about transportation and stuff, and I have sent out an email to you. A very specific situation. The construction right now is happening from Wonderland on Southdale all the way to, I don't know what's that intersection. So a small pack where for 3 and 4 months, all the residents being tortured by this construction. But my question to you as incumbent and council, that how come that only patch was going to be improved while the rest of the whole Southdale, who will be approaching to new development, is not improved? So basically, we are spending millions of dollars, but still not making a resolution of the real problem.
Okay, thank you. So specifically to Anna as incumbent.
And specific to transportation along the Southdale Road, I would assume, because we have many road improvements throughout Ward 9 that are going to be done and need to be done. But I'll stick to your question about what is being done. We're doing it in 3 projects. The first one is at the Boswick Community Center. Then we're going to do the roundabout at Colonel Talbot in Southdale. And then we are going to continue the road improvements from Bowler to Wickerson, where you have that big hill. We're going to cut that out and make it safer for people to move around.
Okay, thank you. So that was a specific to incumbent question. So unless anybody, we have another question, so can open, yeah? All right, so if you can give us again precise.
Very brief.
Thank you.
Very clear, very short.
Yeah.
I live on Commissioners Road, and we've had, I live in a complex, a condo complex. And when I moved here 5 years ago, I understood what the official plan was and the London plan was, and the City Council made exceptions to that in order to allow for affordable housing. And instead of some small development in front of our condo, we have a 5.5-story apartment building, and beside us, another exception was made for another 5-story apartment building. I do congratulate our current councillor, Anna Hopkins, for helping us work very diligently on making concessions to that. So what I want to do with my question is ask the municipal candidates, would they be continuing to support the London plan, or would they be in favor of making exceptions to that plan in order to allow for affordable housing? That is my question.
Thank you so much. Okay, so all 3 will answer 30 seconds. Mario?
I think that's a very good question. I've received several questions like that. I'm not sure if you emailed me, but I did respond to several questions like that. I believe that we should, as I mentioned before, we should look at all possibilities to eliminate such situations, to make sure that when you move into an area that, you know, you're not expecting a 4, 5, 6-story high rise that's being built right in your backyard. It's one of the reasons why when we were looking at houses and stuff, well, I don't want to live beside that high rise. I think we need to work diligently to promote various aspects of our development.
Okay.
Done. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd love to talk to you more about this.
Yeah, okay, good. Veronica, 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you. I really empathize with you as well. And my mother just moved into a condo and was not aware of the fact that there was going to be a 9-story building right in front of her. So she moved in expecting to have a lovely little green space to walk her dog, and now she has nowhere to walk her little dog, and she's stuck in a condo because there were no exceptions made. And I really empathize with this lady, and I'd be willing to work with all of the community.
Okay.
And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Baqar?
I think that this is a very, bad situation, and it's really a problematic thing. One day when you wake up and you see lots of machinery standing in front of you, and you don't expect this thing. I am totally against this. I have a very firm stance on this. I don't accept this thing at all. Whenever I have a chance to serve the city council, I definitely will look into that. And we should not do this to the residents of the area who don't even know that what's going on in front of them or in their backyard. Thank you.
Thank you. And Anna?
Yeah, I think the question is a very good question because it really touches upon the challenges that we're going to have as a city now. We no longer do bonusing for affordable housing. I think we need opportunities to do more affordable housing. That's been taken away by the province, and we have been advocating for things like inclusionary zoning, ways to improve the intensification in developments to allow people to afford their place.
Okay, thank you. So I'm now going to give the candidates an opportunity to do some closing remarks. Given where we're at from time, I'm going to give you 2 minutes each. Very precise, holding to the 2 minutes though. And so the closing, Veronica, you'll start 2 minutes. Anything else you want the community to know about why you're running?
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again for being here, everyone. And especially on a Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon on a beautiful weekend. So anyway, I envision London as a multicultural city, a safer London that supports people who strive to make our communities thrive. Better systems for housing, transportation, sanitation, and job growth. Appealing and fun to live in, a place to live forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Baqar?
Yes, as I started in the very first dialogue, that I'm here to serve. I'm here to be with my constituents, and I definitely will bring lots of new things to this ward. Especially, I'm looking for the roads. As I already said, roads should be not only looked at right at the end of the term of city councillor. It should be a continuous process. We need to repair them all the time. And at the same time, as I already mentioned, I need more dog parks in my area. I have lots of friends, lots of people living in my area. They want to have dog parks. Not the end, but skyrocketing property taxes. We need to look at them, and I definitely will try to address this issue. And at the end, I would request all of you people. We have almost 20,000 votes in this area, and our poll casting ratio is just 48-50%. We need more than that. Please do come on 24th of October and express your vote, and I would request you to choose the one which you think can serve you much better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anna, closing.
Yes, I have served on two councils, two very different councils with two very different mayors as well. I am a collaborator. I know the importance of 15 council members and how we work together. We only have one vote. We need to work together. We may not always agree with one another, but we should be transparent and respectful. My approach is very different. Over the past 8 years, I've worked to do the nuts and bolts. It's work. I am a hard worker. As a councillor, I've been able to keep our taxes low. I'm talking about our two councils, keeping the roads paved and attracting businesses to London. At the same time, I've kept an eye on London's future, advocating for affordable housing. better transit, and protecting our environment. I will always listen to your voices. We may not agree, but I will listen. I'll continue to work hard for your families, protecting our agricultural community as well. And I will put the necessary work in each day to ensure that Byron, Lambeth, Riverbend, Talbot Village are neighborhoods that are safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Mario, you're closing.
Thank you very much for having me. This was actually been a lot of fun. Wish we could do more. I think a lot of us are sitting here because a lot of us are sitting in the audience, and other people are running for council because we are aware of the issues that face our city. And a lot of that we've touched upon, right? In addition, housing, we're facing homelessness, addiction issues. In our ward, we're going to be facing property tax increase in the near future because of the development that is happening outside of London. So I think I'm running for this position not to collect a wage, not to collect a salary. I'm running for this position because of my frustration with what has happened in our city over the last few years, over the last couple of terms, but also the challenges that we're going to face moving forward. In addition to the increased taxes, we're also in the midst of a record inflation we haven't seen in 40 years. You're all aware of the interest rates that are happening. We're going to be entering a recession in first quarter of 2023. So all these issues that we're facing right now, because we're saying, let's throw money at this, let's throw money at this. Of course, we have to fund all these things, but we're going to be facing some issues moving forward that I think the previous council has not addressed because we're in this position that we are, and I think it's going to get worse. And I really believe that I want to make a difference on these things that impact our lives. And I think we need to have a council that works together. We need to have a council that understands our challenges and is willing to work not only with the council, within the council, but also work with the constituents to determine what is important for us. Right? Like I said, if we can canvass and, introduce ourselves to you, we should be able to answer your emails. We should be able to answer your questions. And we should also be able to engage the people living in Ward 9 and throughout the entire city and say, what is important to you? Because when I started this campaign, what was important to me? Well, housing, of course. But what's also important was emails I received. This intersection in Byron is unsafe. This area, we need to increase bike paths here and there. So I think for me.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to acknowledge we're at the end of our time. I want to thank each of the candidates for coming and participating today. The preparation to prepare to answer questions and to receive yours from the audience. For those of you that chose to come today, it's a commitment to your interest in the political process, but also the community that you live in. So thank you for your questions. The candidates will be here and they will be able to answer questions. I will tell you, we are a little bit time managed from the library perspective. It closes at 4:30. So if you're going to talk, if you could go out in the hallway, because the volunteers need to take the chairs and put them all away. But I want to say thank you so much, and please do go vote October 24th and encourage all of the people that are in your circle and your lives to also consider doing that, because it's a great right we have and we need to assert it. Thank you so much for today.